There's a real blueprint for Meritt Street Media because you've probably heard that I've written a new book. It's called We've Got Issues. We've Got Issues. Doesn't that have a ring of truth to it? We've got issues. And the subtitle is How You Can Stand Strong for America's Soul and Sanity. And it's time that we stand strong. Now, this book talks about a lot of things that I know you have on your mind. I know you have it on your mind because it's been out for several weeks. It's on the New York Times bestseller list. And people are stopping me everywhere I go, bringing up different aspects. We talk about all this inclusive language that's gone on, what you can and can't say. We talk about this equality of outcome that's being peddled around. We talk about what's happening in the schools. I talk about the 10 principles that are essential for a healthy society, for a healthy culture. For example, number one is be who you are on purpose. Be who you are on purpose. You got to own that. Live with intention. And to do that, you got to sit down and think about, what do I really value? What are my values? One of them is you can't be silent just so other people can remain comfortable. You just can't do that anymore. If you do, you're losing by default. You're letting the loudmouths control what's going on in America. You can't do that. We can't reward bad behavior or support things you don't want to see more of. We talk about all of these things. Some of this has gotten so insane, parts of this read like I'm making it up. But I'm not making it up. We've got colleges out there that won't even have an admissions office anymore. Why? Because, that implies when you say admission that somebody's going to be rejected and that might hurt somebody's feelings. So now they call it Office of Enrollment Management. I kid you not. They call it Office of Enrollment Management so as not to hurt somebody's feelings. The Justice Department, you don't have felons anymore. You have justice-involved individuals. So your family member wasn't raped. They just intersected with a justice-involved individual. They're not a felony rapist. They're a justice-involved individual. You didn't have a loved one murdered. No. They just had a head-on collision with a justice-involved individual. Are you kidding me? We're afraid of hurting a murderer's feelings by calling them a murderer. So we don't have felons anymore. We just have justice-involved individuals. Now, somebody's got too damn much time on their hands to sit around and make this stuff up. You can't say brainstormed anymore because that offends somebody that maybe had a head injury. Seriously? I'm waiting for somebody to come along and protect us bald people. You can't. When are they going to say we can't say you're going to snatch you bald anymore? When are we going to drop the bald eagle as being our national bird? Because I swear, it would be a great comedy routine if it wasn't so sad. We've gone too far and somebody needs to push back. We've got people that don't want to teach our kids about the fact that there was slavery at a time in our country because that's negative. Well, you know what? How are you ever going to learn from your mistakes if you don't acknowledge having made them? Well, who's thinking for these people? That's why I said what I said about Israel and Hamas. Look, I'm not a politician. I don't understand geopolitical things, but I know when people invade a country and murder infants in their crib, that's wrong. They say, well, what about all the children that get killed in the Gaza Strip? All the Palestinian babies. That's horrible too. Of course it is. That's horrible. And they say we need to have a ceasefire. You mean like the one we had October 6th? We had one October 6th before the invasion of these non-combatants. I saw a sign that said, Gays for Palestine. Well, I'd like to see them march into Gaza with that banner and see what happens. They'd throw them off the top of a building. We're not teaching critical thinking. We've got to get back to common sense. So we've got issues. How you can stand strong for America's soul and sanity is kind of a blueprint for what we're embracing and working on at Meritt Street Media. All of these shows, everybody involved here, Steve Harvey, Nancy Grace, Chris Harrison, Mike Rowe, Bear Grylls, Robin, all of these people want to get back to core values that everyone can embrace. And that's what this is about. I want people to tune in. I want you to tell everybody that there's this new DrPhil's Meritt Street Media and DrPhil's book, We've Got Issues. I tell you what's going to happen when you read that book. You're going to say, yeah, I agree with probably a lot of what I say in that book. You just didn't have the facts to push back with if somebody was trying to peddle you a bunch of hooey that you knew wasn't right. You know, for example, people know that kids shouldn't spend so much time on social media. They don't know how right they are. They don't know that those algorithms are actually designed to target young people. And when I say target, I mean they know what they're doing makes them anxious, depressed, and lonely. And they could change that, but they don't, because if you're emotionally upset, you click more. And they could show them a box of puppies and they'd think, well, that's really cute, but it's only cute for a little while and then they quit clicking. But if they can show them something that upsets them, they click harder and longer and more frequent. And that means money. And I prove that in this book, and I challenge anyone, invite anyone to fact check anything in that book, because I did. Before I wrote it down, I fact checked it top, side, and bottom so people would know the facts so they can use those facts, whether it's talking to the school board or talking to their children or talking to their neighbors. This is a book that is designed to unify, not divide. But we have to unify among ourselves first. This 70, 80% of middle America needs to come together and know why. And this book is a rallying point for that 70% that has kind of had a live and let live attitude. This is what they need to say, this is what we're rallying around. These are the values. These are the core values and beliefs that we're rallying around. And this is the science, this is the empirical data that supports those beliefs. And that's what it's all about.